Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Lionel here, and I do have a quick fragrance review for you. This one is also going to come from the house of Montale. I just over the last, I don't know, 5 to 6 months, they've really captured my heart after I was introduced to Black Oud. From that point on, I've been enamored with with Montale. Got a good deal on some samples, and ended up buying a decant from somebody. The brother Jonathan McSweeney sent me a bunch of samples of stuff, and I smelled Oud Musk and immediately wanted to purchase it. Um, I was going to buy a bottle, but he ended up selling me 10 mils and one of these beautiful atomizers. Someone else was using this atomizer, but here it is. Uh, Typically Jonathan McSweeney. He's on Crystal Flacons. He's on Facebook. He's on Base Notes. I think on Base Notes he goes by Heppard, Heperd maybe. I don't know. He goes by another name there, but Jonathan McSweeney. He's on Facebook on a Facebook swap page if you're ever there. So anyway, he ended up taking care of me. I bought a few things from him. Another one which I'm gonna review, probably my next review. But he ended up selling me this one. And once I finish this, I'll get a full bottle. So anyway, as you can see, it is Montale. It is Oud Musk. Now, before I dive into this one, I do want to give it a quick comparison. It is very, very similar to this beauty here, Duro. So as you can see, this is Nasamato's Duro. They're very, very similar. I mean, strikingly so. Um, but I'm going to say this: I've yet to review Duro. I will. Um, Maybe this winter out, maybe before the winter's over, I'll review Duro. Um, but just up front, I'll tell you now, I like Oud Musk better than I like Duro. And as I explain in the review, you'll see why as I go further in the review. Anyway, Oud Musk, right after Fragrantica, I just do this out of tradition now. It is considered a woody spicy. The notes are saffron, um, ebony wood, which I don't know what ebony wood smells like, vetiver, amber, musk, and oud, as in oud musk. So, what does it smell like? It sort of reminds you of. It's very very similar to Duro. If you've smelled Duro, if you haven't smelled Duro, think of. I mean, it would put you in a mindset of a Tom Ford Extreme. What else? What else is out there? I'm trying to think of some really heavy, woody, spicy fragrances. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I mean that's the best one for me. Is it really puts you in the mind of Duro, maybe a Tom Ford Extreme, something along that line. So how does it open? It opens with this blast of spicy something. I mean, there's no note there that even mentions spice, but I guess it's. I would argue, I guess that it's the ebony wood. I guess I don't know, but it is very spicy to not have any spicy notes. I would think that spices or um, some type of pepper, or maybe it's the vetiver. I mean, it really could be the vetiver um, playing a spicy trick on it. I don't know. I'll tell you now. I don't know. Um, but your first spray is you're gonna get this almost leather-like woody spiciness, and I guess that's the ebony wood that kind of gives it that leatherish woody spiciness. The oud immediately joins the party. In all of the Montals, you don't have to wait for the oud to unfold. I mean, oud is such a dominant note that it just dominates the entire pyramid of any fragrance that I've ever encountered it in. I don't care what it's in. It could, if oud is in it, if oud is the heart note, if it's in the base, it doesn't matter. Oud is going to creep in the beginning of the fragrance. So in a pyramid on Fragrantica, they might as well just put oud in the top, in the middle, and in the bottom. Because especially with Montals, all of Montals, ouds are prominent. They're there. Or they just make such a swift transition from the top to the heart and the base that you'll never have. You'll never be without oud in this fragrance. So now, how does it compare? This one actually, the oud is smooth as the oud in, say, um, oud lime. It's not as in your face as black oud. So it's much smoother to me than that fragrance. The spiciness and that ebony wood just kind of gives it this the a, a, a woody sweetness. A kind of makes it smooths out the oud, but then there's this musk. Now I'm having a problem describing this musk because again, it's not clean, it's not dirty. I think it is adding to the sweetness in this fragrance. So I think the musk and the woods together with the saffron sort of gives it this sweetness because I don't get a huge. It's not animalistic to me at all. So it's not a filthy, dirty musk. I've seen some comments and people call it dirt. I don't consider this dirty in the least bit. It's sort of, oh, you know what? It's sort of 1740ish on the spicy woodiness, but then there's this sweetness from the musk and the sweetness from the amberness that that signature saffron that Montale has in all of its rose oud types of combinations. And as they come together, they just they blend very very well. If you find black oud sort of intrusive or a bit too vocal, I think Oud Musk would be better. I would even I would put it in line. It's a bit more tenacious than red oud. It's right around the oud line. So I'm trying to think of it's about as tenacious as the opening of Tom Ford Extreme, but as Tom Ford Extreme, when you spray it, it just kind of after a couple of hours, it starts to take a nosedive as it relates to projection and development. Oud Musk sort of picks up. So what's unique is of all of the Montales that I've sampled is sort of the way it goes. None of the Montales ever die. They just kind of, they hit you heavy here and then they just kind of smooth out. So from a performance perspective, I would probably even make it. I think it's more wearable than Black Oud, as if you're going to go to work or something like that. Like Black Oud is hard to wear to work. Oud Musk is a lot more smooth around the edges, so I think you can put it there. Sort of has this leather component to it, which gives it this sort of a classic you know masculine, woody. Some of those old Gucci Porhones, Versace, one of those types of. It kind of gives you that 80 powerhouse feel because of the musk and the spice and the woods. A Gucci Envy type, but it is just so much more depth and so much more smoother, and doesn't have those tenacious citrus, or I mean not tenacious, those I call them almost obscene um, um, citrus notes in the top and that lavender. It lacks all of that stuff. That's with the classic '80s, late '70s, early '90s fragrances, but it still has that feel like that. So I like it more than Duro because for some reason the Nasamatos close up to my nose, they don't smell too well. They smell chemical, like an agent almost. Um, the Montales don't have that. They're still close up and far off. They still have this smoothness to them, and I really think it's probably that saffron and they use that synthetic oud that they use is just a lot smoother than what I smell in a lot of other fragrances. So with that said, the projection on the longevity, I'm going to give it a 5. As it relates to smell and quality, if you like spicy, woody, with hints of oud, if you don't like Montale's ouds, avoid this one also. This isn't one for you. The only one that has oud in the title that I would recommend would probably be red oud. Any of the other ouds that I've encountered are still quite oudish. Um, so if you don't like the oud, avoid this one. If you like Tom Ford Extreme, but it lacks that bite for you, this would actually do it. If you find Duro just a bit too much, this one will do it for you. So overall, it's a 5-star fragrance. Very, very lovely. Very under the radar. I'm surprised it doesn't get a lot more love here, especially with the Dans and the folks like that. So overall, it is a top-notch fragrance, top shelf. Um, I haven't used much. I mean, a full bottle of this will last you a few winters, maybe through your childhood. Your kids, your grandkids will probably wear it because these Montales just got a bite to them. So um, Montale Oud Musk. I'm gonna give it high ratings, high rankings, near the 5 mark. If you're into spicy, woody fragrances, if you like Duro, if you like Tom Ford Extreme, if you like 1740, if you like any of those types of fragrances, you may really, really want to put your nose on this because you will be pleasantly surprised of the quality, the smoothness, the longevity. If you're looking for a musk with some bite, this is definitely it because it definitely has that semi-dirty, sweet, musky uh, thread throughout. Now, it sort of blends in with the woodiness and the oud, but you can still sense it. If you're a fan of musk, and I'm becoming that way, I think that musk here would actually work for you. Also, Lubin Idol, I think the EDP may have some similarities to this one also. So, with that said, that's Montal Oud Musk. Thank you for your time. I'm about 3 minutes over where I wanted to be rambling. So, check it out. Get your nose on it. I will keep it. This will definitely stay in my collection. Um, Real quick, of the Montals that I've smelled, full bottle worthy for me is red oud, definitely. Black oud, definitely. Uh, Oud lime, definitely. Oud musk, definitely, and I would even argue that patchouli leaves is full bottle worthy, and blue amber. So I mean, you can really get a really good collection from this House of Montal. Hats off to them. I hope they stay in business and keep making fragrances. So that's it for me. God bless. Have a good one.